When the Fortnite OG season came out on the 3rd of November, a lot of people dismissed it as just a desperate attempt to get players back. After all, up until that point, Fortnite was on a steady decline in popularity since its peak in 2018, and while the OG season has been a massive success so far, once it ends, the game would go right back to its steady decline, right? What if I told you that this seemingly desperate attempt to recapture the audience they once had is actually one of the most genius, carefully constructed marketing schemes that I have ever seen? Before this video starts, I want to make a trade offer with you. If you enjoy this video and I do earn it, toss me a sub and like. And if you aren't satisfied by a lunatic overthinking a kid's game's marketing strategy, then go cry harder. Okay, so for any of you out of the loop, and no, I'm not talking about that one, the Fortnite OG season brings back the old locations and weapons from the older versions of Fortnite, sort of nostalgia baiting to some extent. It has generated a ton of buzz with friends who used to play the game hopping on for one more match in their favorite locations. And as a Fortnite veteran myself, it does feel fun and simple to be back to the peak Fortnite as some people would call it. Using the old weapons we're all familiar with, going to the old location with simplistic buildings and mechanics. The previous seasons were all just littered with too many game mechanics, too many locations, weapons changing way too often. And sure, Fortnite is a live service game, constant updates are needed, but it just felt fatiguing. It kind of completely took the fun out of the game for me, and as the graphs show, many others. So going back to a simpler time is very welcoming. And this right here is the secret to Fortnite's whole strategy. Allow me to explain. Epic has always been a genius in marketing, and while some of their practices are morally questionable, especially the infamous FOMO tactics, limited time events, limited time battle passes, item cycling through the item shop, I mean, if you see a skin you like, God knows when it's gonna be available for purchase again, if at all. They offer bundles that are ever so slightly just a little bit more expensive than the base items. You can get a skin for 1,500, but add 300 to that and you get a pickaxe, a glider, a loading screen, menu music, my divorce papers as well, forcing most players to spend just a little more money than they were intending, buying something they didn't want because hey, it's a better deal. I went to buy the Mikasa skin, and before I knew it, how did this happen? There's also the excessive usage of microtransactions and how they are presented in their store. 35% extra V-Bucks? I'd be a fool not to buy them. And sure, while this is a problem with free-to-play games as a whole, and it's not as unethical as the usage of loot boxes, I'll see you in hell Genshin, it still is just questionable at best. Case in point, Fortnite Chapter 1 Season 7. In the final weeks of the season from February the 14th to the 28th, Fortnite released a set of overtime challenges. Just extra challenges that would reward you with new edit styles for the battle pass skins you got that season. But if you finish all the challenges, you get the Season 8 battle pass for free. Even if you're a free-to-play player, you would still get this reward. And most people loved this, to finally try out what it felt like completing challenges and earning rewards that were not mediocre. It made grinding much more enjoyable, it gave the game purpose, and so when the next season came by, I got a taste of what it was like to play the game without a goal to grind towards. It took the fun out of it completely, and so before I realized it, I became a regular customer for Epic even to this day, simply because I was given a taste, a sample, something too good to resist. I know that's the case with many other players who went through the same exact process as I did, and it was all part of Epic's plan. But their genius isn't only in manipulating players out of their money, it's also in keeping their game alive. Every free-to-play live service game that exploded into popularity has slowly died. Hell, any viral game slowly dies. That's just what's to be expected. A new and exciting thing comes out till it's not so new and exciting anymore and people move on to the next big thing. But Fortnite doesn't die. It's pretty much part of the game's identity at this point. Fortnite doesn't die. Whenever they decline in popularity, they somehow get people talking about their game again one way or another. After Season X, there was a blackout, a black hole Fortnite is gone event which lasted for 36 hours of the game being unplayable with no explanation whatsoever. Followed by Chapter 2, Epic had done a lot of renovation with new mechanics like fishing, swimming, the ability to drive any car on the map, an entire new map, and that had gotten a decent bit of players back after a huge chunk of people, again me included, dropped off at Season X with its broken mechs and just the overall Fortnite fatigue by that point. They then gave us what I'd consider to be a pretty good streak of seasons, with great battle passes, great events, and the biggest factor of all, a As cursed as most of these were, they marked a new era of Fortnite, making it sort of the new Smash Bros of Battle Royale. Fortnite always had a ton of collabs with franchises like Marvel, DC, John Wick, even with pop stars and sports leagues, but releasing Kratos, Master Chief, The Mandalorian, Daryl, The Predator, Ryu and Chun-Li, and so much more in a single season was just a sight to behold. It made the game a talking point again, with serious grumpy characters performing silly dances for our amusement. In Chapter 3, they added movement mechanics like sprinting, mantling, and sliding, and one of the biggest changes to the game so far, zero build. It's always been a complaint that Fortnite was way too competitive to be enjoyable. You just shoot a bullet and suddenly the enemy builds an entire colony with their own constitution and economy. With this mode, building would be disabled, and you'd get a regenerating extra 50 shield points to balance it out. This mode was a huge success. It made the game feel more welcoming. Now the pieces start to fall together. Their next big innovation comes in March of 2023, the UEFN. Fortnite would give its players the ability to use their game engine to create different games within Fortnite, sort of like Roblox. While Fortnite always had the creative mode, which was mainly used to create competitive training maps or parkour maps or prop hunts, this one, dubbed Creative 2.0, would allow for much more in-depth development. This immortalized Fortnite with infinite community rank content. Whether the content is good or not is It's up for debate. Regardless, it is now a key part of Fortnite with hundreds of thousands of players using it daily. And that brings us to now. With the OG season about to end, Fortnite is going to release the most amount of content, the most amount of innovation in its entire history. They'll add a rhythm game, a racing game that's kind of a tie-in with Rocket League, a whole open-world Lego collab survival sandbox-like game, all within Fortnite, all with their own cosmetics, item shops, and potentially even battle passes. And with all the leaks and teasers, it seems they're planning on going all out with their Eminem concert in the Big Bang event. This wasn't ever just about trying to get players back into the game. This was about setting up a theater, gathering an audience for a show, making room for casuals, ensuring they get enough content, fixing and nerfing all the problems and complaints of the returning items, making weekly challenges easier, making the game as friendly and as welcoming as possible so that they'll stick around, then giving them the reason to try it out, the little tastes, the samples that will get them hooked, get their friends hooked, demolish all competition. This is Epic's ticket not only to the lives of old players, but new ones. A whole new era of Fortnite set up for success with months, if not years, of careful planning. This is the true purpose of the Fortnite OG season. The players are now back and supplied with content tailored to their preference that ensures they'll stay long enough for the show to start. And once it starts, it's not like they'll have a reason to drop off anytime soon. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video till the end. What are your thoughts on the OG chapter? Was it really just a desperate cry for help? Or do you agree with my analysis? As always, be sure to like the video to give me that sweet juicy algorithm boost, and subscribe because I asked you nicely. Alright, see you next video.